Welcome back to UC Central Live. This is our second installment. So we talked about the first one last time. If you missed it, we're really looking at how you get set up for success, how your organization works, how you set strategy, and we're really moving now from the technology in organizations to the people. This is going to be all about you. I'm happy to introduce Patty McGray, who heads up our training organization. She's going to have a chat with a few of her team about this exciting time in GIS as it relates to empowering employees within an organization. Patty?
Thanks, Nick, and welcome to all of you who have decided to join us today. We're really glad that you're here. So today, I'm here with three of my training colleagues, Bobby Viola, Michael Green, and Monica Blackman, who is remote from our St. Louis office. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you.
So during this week of the conference, we've all had an opportunity to learn about the tech, see what's coming in the tech. It's really been very technology focused, which is fantastic because that's very important. We've also seen how beautiful and just awe-inspiring, at least for me, a lot of your work has been. But we want to talk to you today about the other side of GIS, what we call the people side. And that's really all about you. It's about yourself, your professional development, as Jack mentioned in the plenary on Monday. And it's also about how you can influence others in your organization. I know when I watched the plenary, probably the biggest thing for me, aside from how wonderful all the work was the fact that there's so many more people exposed to GIS these days. Just almost everyone in an organization is using it. And that can be a challenge, right? I know when I started in GIS, I'm going to say this, 30 plus years ago, I'm pretty sure that we were the only ones in our entire company who even knew what GIS was, and we're the only ones using it. Everyone else just knew that if they needed a map for something, they would come to us. So it's really changed, and in these days, today, everybody can benefit from using geospatial data and maps in their daily workflows. So it's really expanded across organizations. That challenge is then, how do you keep pace with that changing tech and then setting yourself and potentially your staff up for success, both in the short term or in the long term? Now, I know that three of you have all been working with a lot of our customers who find themselves in this situation, right? So I'm wondering, how do they pull all those people together? How do they pull those groups together so that they're all kind of looking at that same, vision for success?
I can talk about that, Patty. I had the opportunity to work with Anika Smart from LA Metro while they were going through their GIS modernization effort. And she was really at the forefront of putting that together. She was responsible for that buildup. She had the ability to have the budget as well as the approval from the executive team, but they weren't really outwardly expressive about it. She then said, well, how do we get this message out there with the technology? And so what we did is we built a structure to support the training. And the first level of that was e-learning. And e-learning was really built so that it would allow people to have on-demand training while she wasn't away. Yeah. While she was away. The other thing about this is that she had a really, really deep, in-depth understanding of responsibilities and how to align those responsibilities and roles to the technology, which really gave them the ability to align to instructor-led training in a much more purposeful manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting from a communication standpoint. We hear a lot of times that people have to hear a message multiple times and maybe even different ways in order to kind of absorb that message. It sounds a little bit like, from a training perspective, that's very similar with having to have different opportunities for training, kind of meeting them where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more of that complete training solution.
Indeed, and when you have that architecture, when you have that structure built, it really then becomes something where people feel supported throughout the organization. Mm-hmm. Not only knowing that the resources are there, but that people have really set them up for the success to make sure that they are skill enhanced and ready for the technology.
Yeah. And that's super, super critical.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah,
Monica, how about you?
Yeah. Yeah, and to piggyback on what you guys are talking about, I recently worked with the state of Illinois on a statewide modernization effort of their 911 systems. The Next Generation 911 project was led by the state police, and it's basically working to use GIS to increase address accuracy, which in turn will greatly improve response times across the state and our counties. Workforce development was a key pillar to updating all the necessary systems. The state extensively leveraged our training services during this whole process. According to my contact, Cindy Barbera Bell, who is overseeing this statewide initiative, said that all the training has really accelerated adoption of the technology to support this huge effort.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Monica, it sounds like from working with so many different departments across the state who may or may not report to the same folks, it sounds like you had to build up a little bit of trust in the skill sets to kind of ensure collaboration between these departments?
Absolutely. So, for this to be a successful implementation, communication between the various counties is key because all of these counties don't report to the same person. They needed to be open and transparent with their neighboring counties because, emergencies don't end at the county line. So to do this, the state also leveraged ArcGIS Hub to help communicate learning plans, updates, and other key information related to the project to all the different counties, as well as leveraging Esri Community to be able to ask questions off the key stakeholders and amongst themselves. So communication was definitely a key factor to help save lives.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've been hearing a lot about the use of ArcGIS Hub for communications as enterprise rollouts become more common.
Yeah, communication across different departments and different groups is just so critical and absolutely key to being successful with rolling it out on the people side. So I'm kind of curious. You mentioned roles, Bobby, and that's another question I have because not everyone who will be working with the technology needs to know absolutely everything. So everyone needs a little bit different level of skills and capabilities. How do large organizations or even small organizations decide who needs what and then serve that up to them?
The city of Austin, is doing some great work right now, and they're actually migrating over 1,300 users across about 30 different departments within their city. And the different roles and the users, they're all kind of leveraging the technology in different ways. And they're migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro or ArcGIS Online as appropriate. So I was working with the communications and technology management group there, and they had a strong leadership vision that they wanted to modernize it. They wanted to have people utilize the technology in better ways. The realization was this migration was critical to that execution. And so what they were able to do was to get involved early and to start thinking about what are those workflows and what are those impacts to each of these different departments. And through that phased rollout, which they structured up, I was working with Shannon Sims and Andrew Rudin, and they did a fantastic job of really coordinating and bringing together not only the technological implementation, but also the people side. And doing that together as one project really brought out, because they had the time, they brought out the workflows, what those impacts would be, and they timed it well. So it resulted in a pretty powerful and easy for executive managers to really get behind this rollout because they knew what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. The communications were strong. They relied on a strong training plan that was, the training resources were shared, put together ahead of time. So it was really a smooth rollout. It's been non-chaotic, and actually the pace has been really pleasant for them. They were really excited to see that pace pick up so quickly.
Especially with that many people, it's great to have that plan and something for those, GIS managers and others to see, and even for those that are going for the training, right, to understand what's coming next and to really understand the whole piece.
Yeah.
That makes me think of something, Patty, that you talked about, and what I'd love to share with you about Anika and the team at LA Metro is this structure that I talked about when it comes to training, right? On that bottom level is training and all of the resources that we have, but they're taking that further. What they have in the middle is Esri's technical certification as well to really skill up and really take that experiential knowledge that those folks have to the Esri technical certification. But the third part about that, which is really forward thinking and taking it into a new level of support to the individuals within LA Metro, is they're working with a partnership with a local university to really take those jobs and careers to the next level of geospatial capabilities, which is just awesome.
That's fantastic.
Well, and
I'm sorry, go ahead, Monica.
Oh, I was just going to say, and the favorite part of my job is focusing on the people. Here at Esri, we're so laser focused on the software and how it can, implement within organizations that it's nice to, sit there and define what roles are being done and what their goals are within the roles. And, that really helped with the state of Illinois because we were able to build learning plans, leverage all the free web courses, instructional led training, customized videos. This really gave, all the users, even the less experienced one, an opportunity to be more engaged and advance their skills. So that's the fun part of my job.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Yeah.
awesome. This has been really great. There's just a whole bunch of information here, and just to sum up really quickly for everyone, what I think I'm hearing is that there's a technology plan and there's a people plan, and the best way to approach this is to make sure that you have both and to have them work in alignment and really at the same time to set yourself up for that success both in the short term and in the long term.